we want to we don't want an up and down business. We want something consistent, and we're working hard every day to build something that can consistently grow and consistently provide for us.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How would you like to make your first million? And today we have Drew, which is the founder of GroHaus. So Drew, tell us, what are the 5 steps to make your first million?
All right, so everything starts with your offer. We talked a little about product market fit before we got started here, and all an offer is you just have to figure out who are you selling to and what are you selling and how do you craft something that is truly unique in the marketplace. A lot of people get stuck in these commoditized markets because they sell a commoditized service. And I did this myself when I was first starting my production company way back but when I was doing that, is I was just selling video production. And that is the kiss of death for any business, because now you are up against every single person who also sells it. And now the quality doesn't matter to your client. All it matters is the price, because they can compare, well, you're going to charge me $1,000 a day. He's going to charge me 500. You both do video production, in big quotes. So I'm just going to hire the $500 guy instead. When you have a unique offer, something, truly that is without comparison in the marketplace, it opens up a world of possibilities in terms of the people you can target with it, the prices you can charge, and the service you can overall provide for your clients. Once you have the offer, the next place I go is paid media. And a lot of people get really nervous about this because they're like, no, that's like the last step in marketing. We got to get all this other stuff fixed. And it's like, no, the first thing you need to do is bring that offer into paid media, because it's going to give you rapid fire exposure to your target market and give you validation within 10 days. You are going to know if your offer hit the nail on the head or if you are way off in left field. And there is no better way to do that in a quicker time frame than paid media. If you can't afford paid media when you're first starting out and you first got the offer, the next best thing is cold outreach. But you have to accept that it's probably going to take 3 to 6 months to really be able to truly validate that offer, because cold outreach just isn't as effective as paid media is. So I always say, invest in the paid media. You got to spend at least $50 a day to really get good data in a 10-day window. And then once you have that, you're going to start getting clients in, because that's how paid media works. You buy ads, and if the offer is good, you get clients. The next part is you have to figure out what the faults are in your offer, because your offer is not going to be perfect, no matter how much you workshop it. And this is why so many people spend years perfecting the offer, and they launch and it still fails. And they're like, I don't get it. I spent a year developing this. It's like, because you shouldn't have spent a year. You should have spent a month doing it, launched it, found the faults, and then fixed the faults so that you could continue growing. And so once you understand what are the things people really like about your offer, that they really engage with, they really get value with, what are the things that are sucking up your time and providing really no value, and then it's just trimming and pruning like you would, a box hedge into that's perfect shape. Your business is going to be ugly when you start, no matter what kind of business it is. No business starts and comes out of the entrepreneurial womb perfect. It just not
Tell me
doesn't
about
happen.
it. Yeah.
Exactly. So the fourth step is you got to build yourself out of the business. So now you have plenty of clients coming in. You need to start hiring people, and you need to delegate off the lowest order tasks first, moving up to sales. Sales should be the very last thing you delegate away, because no one about and position your business better than you as the entrepreneur. So look at the smaller, one of the first things I did, my first employee, she was in charge of my calendar, because I realized that the time it would take me going back and forth, even with Calendly, some people don't like using Calendly and all that, but just getting my calendar organized was sucking up hours of my time each week. So I was just like, just take this. You are now the calendar person. That's all you're going to do. And then from that, obviously the role grows beyond that. But that in and of itself saved me hours a week that I could then reinvest back into the business. And so once you have your team fully built out, and really the only thing you're responsible for is sales, that's when it's time to really scale. And it's usually only at that part where you already hit $1 million that I usually recommend bringing in outside salespeople, because the reality is that you need enough time in the game to really perfect your sales system and perfect your lead flow. If you hire and I've done this 3 times and each time it was a mistake, I hired a salesperson too early before these things were in place, and every single time it falls on its face. And so once you have that methodology in place that you can teach them, that they can repeat, then it becomes the thing that, well, now you are much more of a, you're not working in the business, you're working on the business completely. And so that's the scale that shifts. You start doing everything in the business, you end being that, CEO that everybody dreams of being.
That's amazing, Drew, and I agree 100% with you, especially in the last part that you share, because I think that people think that the salespeople are gonna save you, and at the end of the day, if the entrepreneur, the owner, they need to know how to sell and how to sell the product. And if you bring them too early, what happens is that you don't have enough training, you don't have enough knowledge to train that person. And the person is a salesperson and can sell anything, but how to overcome the objection, how the specific things to your product, that's something that, as you are the founder, is something that you have to be able to do. You have to be able to have that skill. I always share with people that to be an entrepreneur is a skill base, it's not a talent base. You and I, we are entrepreneurs not because we have talent, it's because we develop the skill. So the skill, the more you practice, the better you become. Like you said, I hired the sales people 3 times earlier and it didn't work. Okay, the reason is because you are developing the skill yourself. But once you got that skill fully, then you can hire people and you can train them 100% because there are, you already know 360 what are all the objections and everything that goes into the sales cycle. But Drew, tell us, because you said that you have a production company before, tell us why you decided to be an entrepreneur in the first place.
So I grew up with 2 parents as entrepreneurs. So
Oh,
I saw
wow.
I saw small
Amazing.
business up close for my whole life.
So your mom
And
has a business and your dad has a business?
yeah, had a business. He's no longer with us, but
Oh, wow.
so my mom runs a insurance agency. He ran and started a greenhouse, and that was really like, my mom bought into I don't know if it's technically a franchise, but it's a, an agency structure. She still owns the business, but it's a
Yes, like
big
a
brand
business in
name
a
on it.
box and things.
Right.
Right.
And so she worked
Which is
very
very
hard
good,
in it.
yeah. It's not, but nothing wrong about it, yeah. It's brilliant.
Well, I mean, she
Sometimes it's tough to build it from zero, yeah.
well, and she built that business out of a kiosk in a shopping mall to, a multi 7-figure agency, and then sold that agency and bought another one, and has done the
Wow.
same. So she even though it was a business in a box, she still worked very hard, and I saw that. And then, but the more, I think, impactful part of my childhood was watching my dad start a business from scratch, and watch him every day come home from the job he had at the time and like toil away on yellow sheets of paper, writing down ideas and how he was going to do things and structuring and looking up pricing and doing the math because he was a big finance guy. And so watching his journey and progression of building that and then finally launching it. I remember on the day it launched, I was like, oh, I want to do this. This is way cooler than
Very
any
excited,
other
yeah.
like
Very excited.
corporate cubicle job. So
Ah,
that since that point, I'd always been entrepreneurial. I was hustling stickers on the playground. I tried to sell, bags of mulch out by my house one summer or one fall when I was cleaning up the leaf litter and using a chipper shredder to chop it up and make homemade mulch. I mean, I tried everything to make money because I just knew that was going to be my trajectory. And then after college, it was like everyone else was getting jobs, and my focus was like, well, how can I take all this knowledge that I just
knowledge.
gained over 4 years and actually build something out of it?
And then tell us so was your dad around when you started the first business? Was he happy?
Well, not the real first. I mean, when he was around when I was hustling stickers, but he died when I was 10, so he didn't get to
Oh,
see any of my like real
I
efforts.
bet he should be
Um,
he would be very proud of you.
I think so. I
His
think
mom is still around?
yeah, mom's still around.
Is she
She was
happy?
always the
Is she
well,
happy when you
she
decide to be an entrepreneur? She's very
no.
concerned and say, well, why are you doing entrepreneur? You should be doing a job now that you got a degree in university, you pick this hard life?
Yeah,
What
100%.
you?
She was not supportive in everything I do, but she was very concerned that I did not want a 401k job. And she would kept telling me up until about 2 years ago, she's like, you could always get a job. You have a lot of talents. Yeah, I'm sure someone would hire you. I can proofread your resume. And she really pushed for that. And then 2 years ago, I like, she said it again because we were going through kind of like a difficult, stressful time with the business. And I just had my first daughter. She's like, maybe you should just get, and I was like, Mom, I'm making more than they would pay me. Now, in a bad time, I'm making more than I could get. I was like, I would be making more than the CEOs of the companies I'd be applying for. Like, I can't, like, and so since that point, she hasn't brought it up. And so I think she's kind of accepted, like, oh no, he's kind of good at this. Like, he can do this, and he can make a living and provide for his family.
Yeah, when I said to my parents that I want to open the company, they told me, "What? You crazy? No, don't do that." Yeah, and then that they were teachers that they didn't have any clue about businesses. Yeah, and I remember with my mom, every time that I said, "Mom, I'm gonna expand the business," my mom said, "No, don't expand. No more expanding. Leave it like this." That's
Yeah.
And that was my mom, yeah. And I think that she's spun, and she's like, well, it's gonna be more harder for him or whatever. Anyway, but I think that your mom, because she's an entrepreneur, she knows that it's not for everybody. You really have to be built for this. It's a lot of fun. Is very rewarding, especially when everything works out in autopilot and you don't have to do anything and the business run by itself. We've done it, and in property business that we had, that we managed to sell 5 million, and the whole thing was running autopilot. It was amazing. So, but it's not for everybody. So then, how about your friends? Yeah, because from your class, the only one or 3 or 4 more open a business, right? The rest, they have jobs. So what happened with your peer friends? Do you still have them around? Do you have new friends?
Well, what I would say is entrepreneurship does tend to be a lonely road. And I'm not the first person to say that.
I agree 100%.
I think the reality is that this is such a unique path through life that a lot of times it does not give you the opportunities to have the same kind of relationships that a 9-to-5er has. Because, like, think about, like, if you're getting off at work at a predictable time each night, well, then you can plan things around that. If you're not working the weekends on stuff for the business, well, you can go and spend time watching football games with guys. And so I think the problems that you run into, it's like your schedule does not align with your friends. And so I have a friend here, and he is a very smart engineer. He works for a big defense contractor, and he even works from home. But, like, every once in a while, I'll have like a light Thursday or a light Friday, and I'll give him a call and be like, let's grab a round of golf. Like, come on, like, let's just like play hooky. He's like, I can't, man. Like, I gotta work until 5. They have like keyboard trackers on my thing to make sure I'm working. And I'm like, all right, like, it is what it is. But it's one of those things that it's a sacrifice you make. And a lot of entrepreneurship is just about making sacrifices about, would I rather have the friend group that everybody else has, or would I rather be really successful and passionate in life? And I'm going to sacrifice the friend group every single time, because you can always find other entrepreneurs as friends, but you only have one shot at success. Like, you only have a limited amount of time on this earth to build something, and to build something takes a long time.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.